They thought you would break. They thought you would beg. They thought betrayal would make you smaller, quieter, weaker. But this is what they didn't expect. They didn't expect your silence to be strength. They didn't expect your absence to feel heavy. They didn't expect that losing you would slowly expose everything they took for granted. When someone betrays you, they usually calculate the immediate outcome. They expect tears. They expect confrontation. They expect you to chase closure. What they don't calculate is who you become after the pain. Because betrayal doesn't just hurt, it transforms. And while they were busy justifying their actions, telling themselves you'd always be there, assuming you'd forgive one more time, something inside you was shifting. Not loudly, not dramatically, but permanently. They expected you to stay the same. They didn't expect growth. They didn't expect dignity. They didn't expect you to choose yourself. And the hardest lesson for someone who betrays you is realizing too late that the version of you they thought they could return to no longer exists. In this video, we're going to talk about what really happens after betrayal, not to the one who was hurt, but to the one who underestimated you. If you've ever been betrayed and felt broken, stay until the end, because what happens next is something they never saw coming. 1. What betrayal really does to you. When they betrayed you, it didn't just hurt your heart. It shook your reality, because betrayal isn't only about what they did. It's about what you believed. You believed in their words. You believed in their promises. You believed in the version of them they showed you. And when that image cracks, it feels like the ground beneath you shifts. You replay conversations in your head. You question your intuition. You wonder how you didn't see it sooner. But here's what they didn't expect. They didn't expect that pain would wake you up. At first, you cried. You felt foolish for trusting. You felt embarrassed for loving so openly. You felt small for not walking away sooner. But slowly, something changed. Instead of breaking you, the betrayal forced you to see clearly. You started recognizing patterns you once ignored. You started valuing boundaries you once avoided. You started choosing peace over proving your worth. They thought betrayal would leave you stuck. They didn't expect it would make you stronger, because betrayal has two outcomes. It either makes you bitter, or it makes you wiser. And while they were assuming you'd remain emotionally available, waiting, hoping, forgiving again, you were quietly evolving. And the most powerful part, the version of you that rises after betrayal, is not desperate, it's aware. 2. What they never saw coming. When they betrayed you, they were thinking short-term pleasure, short-term validation, short-term ego. They assumed you would react the way you always did. They thought you'd confront them, cry, demand explanations, maybe even forgive again, because that's who you used to be. Patient, understanding, willing to work through anything. But what they didn't realize was this: every betrayal has a limit. And when that limit is reached, something switches. You stop arguing. You stop trying to convince someone to value you. You stop asking for the bare minimum. And that silence, that calm detachment, that's what they didn't expect. They expected chaos. They didn't expect composure. They expected you to fight for them. They didn't expect you to finally choose yourself. And at first, they may even feel relieved that there's no drama, relieved that you're not making it hard for them. But relief turns into confusion because your absence starts to feel different. You're no longer checking in, no longer emotionally available, no longer reacting. And when someone loses access to the heart they once took for granted, that's when curiosity turns into discomfort. 3. The moment it finally hits them. At first they think your silence is temporary. They tell themselves, she just needs space. He'll calm down. They always come back. Because you always did. You always tried to fix what they broke. You always gave one more chance. You always loved louder than their mistakes. But this time, something feels different. Days pass, then weeks, and your energy doesn't return. Your name disappears from their notifications. Your voice no longer fills their quiet nights. Your presence, once constant, becomes memory. And that's when it starts. Not dramatic regret, not instant guilt, but a slow, uncomfortable awareness. They begin to notice the absence of how you loved. No one checks in the way you did. No one listens the way you did. No one believes in them the way you did. The replacement feels exciting, but shallow. The conversations feel lighter, but emptier. And suddenly, what they once thought was normal about you starts to look rare. They replay your patience, your forgiveness, your loyalty. They remember the moments you stayed when leaving would have been easier, and the most painful realization, you weren't weak, you were choosing them. And now that choice is gone. That's what they didn't expect. They didn't expect your growth to be permanent. They didn't expect your detachment to be peaceful. They didn't expect that one day they would miss the very love they undervalued. Because when a sincere heart walks away without chaos, it doesn't leave drama behind. It leaves a void. 4. When regret stops being quiet. There comes a night when the distractions don't work anymore. The phone is silent, the room is still, and for the first time there's nothing loud enough to drown out the truth. That's when regret stops whispering and starts speaking clearly. They begin to understand something uncomfortable. You weren't too emotional. You weren't too sensitive. You weren't asking for too much. You were asking for consistency. And consistency feels heavy to someone who lives in temporary moments. They start noticing patterns in themselves. How they chase excitement. How they avoid accountability. How they confuse attention with connection. And slowly, your absence turns into a mirror. Because without you there to reassure them, to soften consequences, to stay despite the hurt, they're left alone with their own behavior, and that's what truly unsettles them. It's not just missing you. It's realizing they lost someone who genuinely wanted to build something real. They remember the way you looked at them with belief. They remember the way you defended them, even when others doubted. They remember how safe your love felt, and safety is rare. That's when regret shifts from ego to awareness. Not because you hurt them back, but because you walked away with dignity. And dignity makes people confront what they ruined. 5. The unexpected outcome they never imagined. Here's what they truly didn't expect. They didn't expect you to glow after the heartbreak. They thought betrayal would leave you damaged. They didn't imagine it would make you selective, stronger, more self-aware, while they were busy explaining their actions to themselves. You were rebuilding quietly. You started pouring the love you once gave them back into yourself. You set boundaries without guilt. You stopped over-explaining your feelings. You stopped shrinking just to be easier to keep. And something beautiful happened. You began attracting healthier energy, not because you chased it, but because you finally stopped tolerating less. That's the twist betrayal never sees coming. They thought losing you would be temporary. They didn't expect you to outgrow the version of yourself that once accepted their inconsistency. And one day, when they look at you from a distance, calm, grounded, no longer emotionally available to their chaos, they understand. They didn't just lose access to your love. They lost the version of you that would have stayed through anything, and that version doesn't return. because growth doesn't reverse. If you were betrayed, let this be your reminder: you were never too much. You were just loving someone who wasn't ready to value depth. Your pain wasn't wasted. It refined you. It taught you who deserves your softness and who only deserved your distance. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's becoming unbothered, and nothing unsettles someone more than realizing the person they hurt became stronger without them. If this resonated with your story, like this video if you've ever turned betrayal into growth. Comment, "I chose myself," if you're no longer available for inconsistent love. Subscribe for more deep emotional truths about relationships, healing, self-worth, and protecting your peace. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. They betrayed you, but what they didn't expect was who you would become because of it.